It's me, Stephen Thomas, with reportsonhousing.com. We're ready for another episode of the Housing Debrief. Thank you for joining me on this first Friday in summer. Pretty excited about summer. It feels great to be outside in the pool, enjoying the summer warmth. So I hope you are ready for another Housing Debrief. I would introduce you to some of my kids. Even my niece is over. One of my kids' friends is over, but they're all swimming right now. So it's just yours truly. That's it. So you get me. Maybe there'll be a cameo appearance here or there, but I wish I could interview them so you could see them, but they are out busy swimming. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started with another Housing Debrief, hoping for one of those cameos. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'm trying to see where I'm at. There I am. All right. So, of course, I would like to thank our sponsor, Kevin Buddy from Monarch Coast Financial. He is handling my refinance right now as we speak. Appraisal came through today, and I was absolutely shocked to see how much values have come up. Very eye-opening when you do it for yourself. So very, very excited to see that. But Kevin Buddy from Monarch Coast Financial, he deals with more than one kind of borrower, more than one kind of loan, and everything from full documentation loans to alternative documentation loans and investor financing and even private money loans. So pretty much dealing with it all. He's got loads and loads of experience, super exceptional to work with, gets back to you fast, answers text messages. I should know the process has been extremely efficient. I did have to show and prove that I could actually make the payments, but that's what we do nowadays. This isn't prior to the Great Recession where you can fog a mirror, but he has loads and loads of experience. He's been doing this since 1976. He's my buddy, your buddy, Kevin Buddy at Monarch Coast Financial. You can reach him to help you out as well as your clients. 949-422-2075. That's 949-422-2075. Kevin Buddy with Monarch Coast Financial. Thanks again for your ongoing support. Reports on Housing, that's our company. It's your local real estate snapshot. And it's really about data and statistics, and that is power. It just shows exactly what's really going on. It's not focusing on any one individual data set, but it's looking at a multitude of data sets. We are also looking at everything from what's going on in the overall macro economy all the way down to our local economies and seeing how that impacts housing. And that's what we're bringing in. And when we write our reports, it is in layman's terms, easy to follow, easy to understand, and it's easy for you to then articulate to everybody what is going on in the marketplace. We don't focus a tremendous amount on closed sales data because it's a reflection of what's happened in the past, in the rearview mirror. Instead, we're looking out the windshield. We're looking at the active number of available homes to show supply, and then the last 30 days worth of escrows, demand. So from supply and demand, we can give you the speed of the market. Of course, the lower the market time, the faster the market. And that is what we're experiencing this year, is an extremely unprecedented fast market. So I really want to, it's all about setting expectations, right? Oops, I don't even have my chat on. So hey, bear with me for a second. Just see if there's any. Am I the only one that keeps freezing up? If that happens, Scott, what you want to do is get out of it and get back in. Anyways, that oftentimes fixes it. Sometimes people say they can't hear. There's been times where I've muted it, but there's been most of the time it's because you have to get out of it and then get right back into it. It's just the way it works. And if the feed's not good on Facebook, you can always head over to youtube.com/reportsonhousing there as well. But our reports and our mission statement is to set expectations of everybody, properly set expectations based upon the data. And we have reports that dot all over Southern California, LA, Orange County, and San Diego, and then San Bernardino, Riverside. And the latest one that came out is Summer Transition. This thing comes out every 2 weeks. San Bernardino Riverside Inland Empire got theirs this week. Next week, coming up Monday, out goes the next report, and that is coming out this coming Monday for Orange County, San Diego, and Los Angeles. But the most recent one that came out was Summer Transition. So if you signed up, you'd actually get the last one, and you get the next one coming up as well. So our company website, reportsonhousing.com. Go there, click on subscribe, and we'll send you out the most recent one, Summer Transition. There's a PDF version for printing it out, Word version for copy, cut, edit, paste, Excel spreadsheets, excerpts, lots and lots of charts, infographic, as well as social media posts. And this thing comes out, like I said, every 2 weeks, like clockwork. And it's $15 per month or $150 per year. You get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code TRENDS, because that's what we're going to talk about today are some trends. Anyhow, speaking of trends, changing housing trends. That is exactly what is going on today. And I even had somebody from Sacramento say that, they're not seeing much of a change. It's the trends the trend is our friend. And basically it shows the underlying current of anything that is evolving. And there is an evolution of what's going on, and it's showing in the numbers. And that is what I'm going to share today. It all has to do with what's going on in our housing market. And it's not just locally in your county. It's pretty much Southern California. I've been looking at the Bay Area and around there as well. And this is what is being articulated across the country. And Southern California supply, of course, we just did the statistics for today. So this is a new chart, and we do this every other week. And it's in conjunction with what we do along the coast. And the active listing inventory has been on the rise. Today, we're at 18,449. It's up 5% in the last week, or an extra 818 homes on the market. And last year at this time, we had 28,226, which is 53% more. But you could see it's starting to squeeze closer to where we were last year. And there will be a time probably when we surpass this line. And it will be most likely, I'm gonna guess it's probably going to be sometime in the fall, but we'll have to wait and see. The 5-year average is 41,487. That's up 124% from where we are today. So it's more than double. It's where that purple line is. That is where we should be. That is the 5-year average. That is where it's more comfortable to transact in real estate. And we're still going up in value. It just shows you how low our inventory is, which is why we have been so, this market this year has been so hectic, insane. There's a lot of ways to talk about it. But let's talk about these for sale signs. And there's been 20% more inventory since April 1st. So 20% more homes are sitting on the market right now than where we were at April 1st. Also, 3,054 additional for sale signs. That's what that means. So from April 1st to today, there's actually 3,054 more residential resale for sale signs. That is exciting news for me. I think this is great. We need to see that this market evolves into a much more balanced market. I'm not talking where it favors buyers, but I'm talking where it's not insanely in favor of sellers, where we have values going up way too fast. I'm rooting against that because it's now unhealthy to go at this current speed that we are at. So you're wondering why, Stephen, why are you so excited about these values? And that's because the current market that we're in right now is absolutely insane. It's like I said, it's very, very unhealthy. I've compared it to Super Bowl party where you have that chili cheese dip and you've eaten all this junk food. And by the time you get to the second half, you take one more bite and you can't really even take that bite. It doesn't go down well. And that's because it's unhealthy to eat that much junk food. And that's kind of where the market is right now. It's not creating a bubble. It's not creating any kind of a market that's going to crash down the road. It's just an unhealthy, unsustainable rate of growth in values. And that will slow down the road if it continues to go at this velocity. But we're starting to see interest rates just start to go up. As a matter of fact, we hit 3.04% today, 3.02%, can't quite remember, Thursday. And that is the first time we've been above 3% in the national average for mortgage rates. It's the first time in 10 weeks. So we're finally getting a little evolution, a rise in interest rates. So let's talk about Southern California demand. And in Southern California demand, it is nutty. It has been nuts. It's been a little insane on the demand side of the equation. And you can see this is the demand side of the equation right here. This is the last 30 days worth of escrow activity, and we're at 19,132. It actually dropped 3%, or down 540 pending sales in the last 2 weeks. And last year at this time, we were at 20,155. That's up 5% more than where we are today. It's an extra 1,000 escrows compared to where we are today. And I'm going to show you. You see this right here. This is where demand is. And it's for the first time where it's year over year, it's actually last year was better than this year. And we're going to see that for the rest of the year. And the reason for that is because last year we didn't have a spring. That V in the green was the spring. And then we had our summertime was really our spring market that was delayed. Our fall became our summer market that was delayed. So you could see we're going to have something more normal this year. And so we're going to go below that green line for demand. We had a lot more homes on the market compared to where we are today. Remember, 53% more last year. So we had more on the market to place into escrow. And remember that, because that's going to be important going forward in this presentation. But the 5-year average for demand, that's the snapshot, 30 days worth of escrow, 17,817. So it is less than where we are today. So you can see where we are today is still elevated compared to where the averages are at. And as far as demand is concerned, it was this last 2-week period was the largest drop of the year. And it's down 4% since the end of May. That is 757 fewer escrow signs compared to where we were at the end of May. So you can see there's been kind of a change, an evolution over the last 4 weeks. And I'm excited about this. You might go, Stephen, why are you excited about this? But once again, remember, it's because we need this market to evolve and slow a bit. We're still dealing with more escrows right now than the 5-year average. We're dealing with way less inventory than the 5-year average. So it's still an extremely hot market. And how hot is that market? How fast is the market moving? Well, the expected market time, that's market time, place your home on the market. When are you going to open up escrow? That is where we are right now today. And you can see it's been on the rise, a slow, methodical trend that has evolved and is here probably to stay for a little bit of time. And that is today we're at 29 days. It went up 2 days in the last 2 weeks. Last year, we were at 42 days. It's getting narrower. You could see that green went way up high and then came way down. And it's been came way down because of how hot the market was last year. Anytime you're at 40 days or less, it is extremely an insane market. We're headed the right direction. We're at 29 days, but still insanity, but it's going the right direction. And the 5-year average is actually 70 days. So last year at this time, it was way below the 5-year average. So this is where last year at this time, it was a crazy, crazy market that we were already getting ourselves into. And as far as how long does it take to sell? Well, it's up 6 days since April 1st. So it's now taking almost a week longer to sell homes compared to where we were April 1st. And I'm excited about this. Once again, I just want to see the evolution of us not go up as much in value. At 29 days, we're still going up at a pretty good clip. It's just not as strong as where it was back at in April and May. And really, it's the underlying trends, and the trend is your friend. And basically what we're seeing right now is a summer transition. And this is kind of what I talked about in the most recent report that's still available. If you subscribe today, we'll give you the most recent report because the new ones for Orange County, San Diego, and Los Angeles are coming out coming up Monday. And basically what happens during the summertime is inventory climbs. And also demand drops slightly. And that is exactly what we're seeing. I wrote about this nearly a couple weeks ago, but this is typical for this time of the year. This type of thing happens. And really what it is we have the kids are out of school. If you don't believe me, they're right out the door. There's a lot of distractions. They have had vacation Bible school, and they've had they have soccer camps coming up next week. There's another one that has cross country camp, and we're going all over the place. So that's a little distracting, right? So the kids are here, and then there's vacations. We went camping during the first week that they were off from school. And then in July, we're going to go for another week in Utah. We're renting out a cabin in Utah, and everybody's kind of doing this vacation thing. And then, you know what? You can go catch a baseball game. I think a couple days ago, there was a 12:30 baseball game start or whatever time it was at Anaheim Stadium. And this stadium was filled with people. And we have amusement parks that now have those long lines, and everybody's going. At Disneyland, you do not have to have a face mask is no longer required. And we're a lot of frolicking and playing in the pool. It's all the things that we're doing this summer that we were unable to do last summer. We didn't have friends over. We were not able to go on big vacations. I mean, we rented an RV, that type of thing. You weren't able to go to the beach for a while, if you remember back to then. We didn't have fireworks. There's only some fireworks this year, and that's because it was too late to be ordering the fireworks, but I'm sure that'll come back next year. But there are places that do have fireworks. And but there's so many, all these different variables of summer is enough where even if you're playing really hard as a buyer, you're going to want to take a break. And you're going to want to be with kids. You're going to want to go to the beach. You're going to want to go on vacation. And enough of those people accumulate over time. And what happens is we have fewer people. We have escrows that start to come down a little bit because they're off enjoying a summer that they haven't been able to in a couple of years. So they're enjoying summer. And as a result, the homes sit just a little bit longer and accumulating a little bit longer. What you then see is the inventory start to rise because it takes longer for homes to sell. And you see demand dropping because there's not as many going into escrow. So the combination of those two is what slows down the market during the summertime. And that is exactly what we are experiencing today because this is normal for real estate. And I said at the very beginning, or actually last year going into this year, that my forecast was for a normal seasonal effect. 2020 was a COVID year. It messed up the entire year, but that was not normal. That is not typical at all by any stretch of the imagination. We have these different seasons. We have a fall season because I'm going to have more people and more articles written about it and headlines and all that stuff and everybody gossiping about the slowdown in the marketplace. And it's called the fall. It's when the kids go back to school. We transition to another real estate season. It's called fall or the autumn market. And then we get to the third week in November, and we hit what's called the holiday market. That too is another transition, another change in the marketplace, where we actually see a big drop in demand and a big drop in the inventory. During the fall, we see a further drop in we start to see a drop in the inventory, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. And we see a further drop in demand. And then we get into the winter, and this is after we shed all of our New Year's resolutions, and it's the second week in January. That's still winter all the way up until we get into March. And what that is demand surges and the inventory only changes slightly. So that's what happens during the winter time. And then we get to the spring. That's the busiest time of the year in terms of the greatest number of demand, and demand actually peaks during the springtime. And we typically get a rise in inventory. We didn't get much of a rise this year, and that is just because of how hot the market was. So closed sales is another one of those things that a lot of people are talking about. And this is what's going on. If you see May of 2021, last month, 18,889 closed sales. It was up 91% compared to the green line to the left of it. That was 9,024 more than last year, but that was a reflection of going into the pandemic, and we came out of that thing, and you could see the green bars on the right-hand side. It was doing a lot better than averages over time, but we really had a hard time with April, May, and June of last year, so comparing year over year doesn't make a lot of sense. It shows it right here, up 91%, almost double where we were last year. But it's only 0.5% higher than 2019. So, and then of course, it's a little bit higher than 2018 as well, but it's only 0.5% higher than 2019. So it didn't beat the socks off of 2019. We did in the month of April, but not in May. And this is what a lot of people are talking about, because that is not normal. It's only 0.5% higher than 2019, and it's 7.5% drop from May. We don't typically drop from April. I should have said from April. Gosh, boy, little mistake there. 7.5% drop from April into May is what that should say. And I'll fix this for anybody that is following, is a subscriber. We send you a copy of the report in PDF version if you like. But there's a 7.5% drop from April to May. And that's not typical to drop from April to May in terms of closed sales, because May tends to be stronger than April. And the reason this is happening, Gossip Factory has it all wrong. And there's a lot of people that go out there, a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of newspaper columnists that look into what the reasons are. But the reasons are quite simple. We're transitioning to a summer market, A. B, yes, values have risen like crazy. What they're trying to tell everybody in the Gossip Factory is this, that look at how much values are surging from 2020 and 2021, very reminiscent of 2012 to 2013, when what turned that around were rising interest rates, but we don't have that. So really what they're talking about is, maybe buyers are a little scared of the fact, and they're backing off because values are so high. And that is what is kind of been the story that's out there, is values are high, so buyers are a little bit more cautious, and they're not purchasing like they did before. And but if that was the case, then why in the world did we have sold over asking price for the month of May? We keep on getting these increases. A greater number of people than ever before in May closed their home above the asking price. It's at 70.7%. And this is compliments of California Association of Realtors. And they basically 70.7%. So nearly, 71% of all closings in the state of California were sold above asking price. That beat April, that beat March, it beat every month prior. It is a record month, 70.7%. So if fewer people were selling because they were scared, then why does this continue to grow? That's part of it. Remember, the trend is your friend. And here's one of the trends that I have been talking about until I've been blue in the face. Nobody wants to write about it, but this is a real solid trend that is happening across Southern California, across the central California, and also from all the different sources that I'm able to go to across the United States. And really, it's a lot of homeowners are not placing their home on the market because of where will I go? I know I can get a lot from my house, but where in the world am I going to go? I'm going to sit back and watch all of my home values continue to rise, and they're seeing that they have a lot of equity, and their equity is rising on a monthly basis, almost at a 1% clip, and it's great being a homeowner. It means you can take your time. And a lot of people also have refinanced into the twos. And now we're getting this elevation in interest rates again, where we're above 3%. Can you imagine when they get to maybe towards 3.5% by the end of this year? If they get towards 3.5%, that will slow things down further. And there will be a lot of people that refinanced in the mid twos. They're not going to want to move because they have such a great interest rate right now. Why do they want to move to maybe a little bit bigger of a home, but then also have an interest rate that is a whole percent higher? So if you look at the number of for sale signs compared to the 5-year average in Southern California, during the first quarter of 2021, we actually put 10% fewer homes on the market. We were missing almost 7,000 homes for the first 3 months of this year. For April, it was down 11%, another 2,770 closed sale, missing for sale signs. In May, another 13%, or 3,421 missing for sale signs. And so far in June, for the first 15 days of June, missing another 1,700 signs. Can you imagine? That's just a ton. We're over 7,000 missing for sale signs for the second quarter. It will beat the first quarter's numbers as far as missing for sale signs. And this is compared to the average. So we're not selling a gargantuan greater number of homes, but we are selling more homes, and we're working from a depleted inventory that continues to be depleted, and we're starting to see it in the closed sales numbers. So just understand that really what's happening is the limited supply is limiting the number of escrows, and it is limiting the number of closed sales. And every month it's been getting worse and worse, to the point right now where we're at a breaking point. San Diego was there first. San Diego County was at that breaking point where they already had fewer escrows than they had prior to last year, a little bit back. And it's actually less than the 5-year average in San Diego County. And that's just because the sheer volume of missing for sale signs hit San Diego first. And San Diego likes to be a trendsetter. And from that, we could see that the rest of Southern California was right behind them in line. And that is what we're experiencing today. So it is definitely impacting the number of escrows and the number of closed sales because of the limited number of homeowners. And this is a trend that is here. And it's not because of COVID, because COVID, the restrictions have all been lifted, and that is not what is causing this. What is causing this is people don't want to be stuck. They're afraid that they won't be able to find something to purchase. A, B, values are going up. They can just sit back and see, hey, you know what? Rates are going up. So, and I already have a good rate. I'll stay. Those are the different contributing factors that are contributing to this problem that we're dealing with today. So it's really just the facts. We've got to stick to just the facts. And that's what this is. This is looking at more than one angle to explain what's going on. And it's really relying on just the facts, because facts and data is power. And that's what this report that we put together is all about. So if you want a copy of this presentation, go ahead and ping me. You can hit me up in the comments, or you can reach me in many of the other different ways as well. We'll be more than happy to send you a copy of the presentation in PDF form. And go to reportsonhousing.com. Please do subscribe, and you too can make a difference in your business. And it's $15 per month or $150 per year. Shoot, I went to Starbucks just the other day to get my wife a coffee and myself a coffee, and it was a little bit over $10. So it's pretty much one time I go. If I skip it, you pay for the subscription on a monthly basis. You get a month free if you sign up utilizing the coupon code TRENDS. And I'd like to thank, of course, Kevin Buddy from Monarch Coast Financial, dealing with everything from full documentation loans to private money loans and everything in between, even handling my own refinance. He's such a professional, and he's had loads of experience. He knows what he's doing, and he knows a lot of economic talk too, and he follows everything so closely. He really is a friend of mine. He's been doing this since 1976. My buddy, your buddy, Kevin Buddy. Contact him to have him help you or your clients. 949-422-2075. That's 949-422-2075. And that's all I have. Let's see. I do have time for a couple questions. Let's see if there are any questions in the feed. I did see something. Let's see. Let's see if I can find what I saw. How about that? Just got outbid on a home in Granada Hills. Client went $100,000 over, and we didn't get the home. Yes. Do you factor, let's see, I'll put this up here. I can actually make myself bigger too. How about that? There we go. There's a bigger me. Do you factor into pending sales, probate sales that drag on because they require court confirmation? Only when they initially go in. It's a snapshot of the last 30 days worth of new escrow activity. So they stay for a long time. I'm not factoring in this lingering pending sales, because remember, even short sales take forever to close. They still do take longer than the normal escrow to close today. And they did when we were in the Great Recession and coming out of the Great Recession. So we only look at that initial snapshot of the last 30 days worth of new escrow activity. So let's see. So yes, Ingrid, we'll send you a copy. Let's see. It's funny. Does this include off-market sales? So let me tell you why we have to be so careful with our closing sales data. We don't deliver it. Sometimes people get their report. It's like the second of the month or third of the month of the new month. And they go, hey, how come we don't have closed sales data? It's because it takes a while for that closed sales data to properly get fixed. Part of it is there are a lot of agents out there that even if they sell these pocket listings, they're still placing them into the MLS with a zero days on market, and then they close out the thing just so they can show that they did this transaction, so that when people are looking to see how much they have done in volume and how many units, that it actually can be proven that they did it. So there are a number of agents that go in there and put their pocket listings into the MLS, and they never really have hit the market. And I've seen a lot of that over the last year. So, but we've been doing it the same way for such a long time that, remember, that doing it the same way over time will still show trends. You might not be able to capture all of the data, but we capture the great majority of the data, and it still tells you where we are in the marketplace, how hot the market is, and in respect to time too, and looking over to, in the past. How is the luxury market? Still hot, and you'll see when you subscribing to the report, we'll send you the luxury market piece. It's a paragraph where we devote to talking about where we are at right now, how the luxury market is evolving, and where it is compared to last year. And so we continue to bring that piece as well. With every single report, there is a paragraph to talk about it. I think that's more important than closed sales data. So I like to look at inventory. I like to look at demand, so supply and demand, the expected market time. We like to pick apart the luxury market. And when there are more distressed, we'll even have a paragraph devoted to distressed properties. We've done that in the past. It's not needed at this time. Another person wants a copy. Let's see if there's any other questions that are out here. Let's see. Here's one. Do you attribute any portion of the 70% above asking price sales related to agents teasing the market or setting? Some of that is true, but we all know that you can place a home on the market according to the last comp, and you are going to get offers that are above the asking price. It's just part of what we're dealing with. That's what I attribute it to. I don't attribute it to, because those people exist in all kinds of markets. There are always some homes that sell above asking because there are some people that put it artificially these lowball offers. It's not needed in this market. In this market, you could price it right at that last comp, and you know what, you're going. And if it's below, gosh, $1.5 million for the most part, these things are flying off the market if you properly price it with lots and lots of offers, which means that there is a high probability that it sells above the list price. And that's what's going on. That's a lot of transactions for it to be attributed to just the teasing of the market. How much do agents and other recommendations on the list price affect this, you think? Yeah, so I really don't think it's that much of an effect on the marketplace. Let's see. Should I pay for it? Should I pay $40,000 over appraisal on investment property, or just let it go or wait? It really depends. It depends upon the appraiser that you get. I've seen some appraisals where people are scratching their head. Oh gosh, this isn't going to go through. And how in the world did it go through? That type of thing, all the way to it was $40,000, $50,000 below what we've offered to pay. You know what the true value of the property is, and what the true what the true direction of this market is. This market may be slowing, but you have to understand we're at 29 days. 40 days expected market time for it, and below is an insane market where values are going up really fast. It might not go up at the same rate that it did a couple months ago. It might be a little bit slower of a velocity, but it still is a velocity where it's upward nonetheless, because as you know, everything is selling for above list price, which means it's going for above the most recent comp. So that means that we're getting an elevation in price, and that will continue until we get a noticeable rise in mortgage rates. If we don't get that, it will be the same full throttle for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that we get a rise in interest rates so that by the time we get to the fall of this year, that it starts to slow a bit and we don't get as much appreciation. I would rather just see that, 3 to 5% appreciation. I'm totally fine with that. I'm just not okay with this level of appreciation that we're dealing with right now. So do you have any data on how many are falling out of escrow? I haven't really tracked that. I know that it exists, Jeff. That's a really good question. I know it exists. And my gosh, is your profile picture of you in the snow? It's pretty funny, but but I really think that there are properties that are falling out of escrow. You have to be as careful as possible because some people are just hitting like a buckshot where there's a whole bunch of properties that they throw out offers to, and in that case sometimes they get more than one, so then something falls out. So you have to be extremely careful. And there are some people that get cold feet in this market. There's some people that then watch YouTube and YouTube Gossip Factory videos that talk about the fact that the market is going to turn or it's going to be negative. There's a bubble. One of our universities up the road in Orange County talked about that the market is a bubble, and I absolutely don't agree with them. Don't see eye to eye with them. They're thinking that interest rates could get as high as 4.75%. Not buying that. It's going to take us a very long time to get there if we ever get to any kind of interest rate like that. I don't think it's in the cards anytime soon. So I really think that there are some that are falling out of escrow, and it's just a part of the marketplace because, I remember every time you purchase and it doesn't matter how old you get, there's always this, you're second guessing yourself. Is this the right time? Is this what I should be doing? And, bottom line is what I'm telling everybody is pull the trigger. This is absolutely the time to be doing it. Interest rates are low. They're at 3%. There's no way that interest rates would have been this low had it not been for COVID. Take advantage of this. I think we're where we should be in interest rate land is probably right around 3.75%. It's not anything hideous, but boy, it really makes you want to cash in on how low these interest rates are right now, because it sure would be dumb to want to pull the trigger and wait until things slow down, because the only thing that's going to make things slow down are higher interest rates. And we're not going to see this big giant drop in values because of much higher interest rates. The only way that we'd see any kind of give back is probably what we do right now to the if we grew and appreciated another 10% from here, and yet then interest rates got up to 4%, then yes, we can erase that 10%. But I really don't think we're going to be seeing interest rates much higher than 3.5%, if we even get to 3.5% by the end of this year. And then for next year, maybe 3.75% at best. So we'll just have to see how everything goes. I don't like to prognosticate that far off. I will be doing my forecast for 2022 coming up this fall, so you'll have to stay tuned for that. And does this slowdown, let's see, a couple more questions. Does the slowdown have anything to do with people taking vacations after opening up the economy? Yeah. Ahmed, go ahead and watch my whole video, because that's what I talked about. It's the summer transition. It's the summer slowdown. It's the normal season where we have a little bit of, it's not even a slowdown. Don't get me wrong. It's slower, but it's not a slowdown. This is still a very extremely insane hot seller's market. It's just the trend shows that things are slowing down a bit. So, and then, and this is the biggest thing. This is the last one I'll leave it on, but Ariel, you say, is it safe to say about 30%? Above what is safe? There is no rhyme or reason as to how much a property should go above escrow. I mean, go above the list price. 30% would be awfully high. So is it safe to say about 30%? I don't know what you're asking, Ariel. Go ahead and ask away anything else that you have. You can clarify that, Ariel, a little bit more, and then I'll be more than happy to answer it. Any other questions you have, put in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them over the weekend. So 30%, is it safe to say about 30% are falling out of escrow? Ariel, I don't know. I don't know I wouldn't say there's anything safe. I would just conduct a mini poll with various escrow companies. I'd be shocked if it was close to 30%. That'd be 1 out of 3. I'm going to say maybe closer to, at best, 20%, 1 out of 5, and I'll probably say it's closer to 15%. So let's see, replying to Jeff Gray, we are seeing transactions fall out and go back on market for 2 or 3 days and right back in. Yeah, Bob's one to answer that. Happens to manage an incredible escrow company, Bob. So yeah, he'd be the one to best answer that, as well as the other escrow people that are out there. So yeah, and they're going back into escrow just as fast. So it's not that big of a deal. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your first full weekend of summer. Have a fantastic weekend. We will see you on the other side. Thank you for staying tuned to another Housing Debrief.